All right, we got questions about Derek Carr, multiple
All right.
questions about Derek Carr, and where is the best landing spot both for Carr and for the team that might be looking to add Derek Carr? Do you think, Matt, that him saying no to the trade was him saying I need to talk to more teams and not just the New Orleans Saints, or was he kind of sticking it to the Raiders a little bit, or was he just like, oh, I'm going to make way more as a free agent anyway, so I just need to try to get that route? I mean, when you see what happened with Kirk Cousins hitting free agency, a legitimate starting quarterback, even if you're not a tier 1
Oh
quarterback,
man, yeah.
you are a legit free agent quarterback in the NFL. I mean, that's a gold mine.
It is. I think it's all the above. I think first of all, it's like, why would I do you guys any favors after benching me when I really didn't deserve to be benched? I know I'm the best quarterback on the team, and you guys bench me and embarrass me. I'm not going to yield you a pick. And I do think tearing up his contract, which basically just happened, is wonderful for him financially, as well as, well, I guess he had the ability to go wherever he want with his no trade clause anyway. But I also think that maybe it is the Saints, and it's going to be a done deal the second we stop, recording this. Who knows? Maybe he's thrilled there. They're thrilled with him. That's very possible. But why hurt your new team and say, wow, I don't want the Saints to be short a second-round pick. That could be a guard for me or another receiver, or, so I think all those things are in play. I think he's going to be coveted. I mean, again, you said it well, that guys like him rarely are true free agents. I think 4 or 5 teams would be crazy not to consider him. And I think New Orleans should be near the top of the list. Here's something I'm going to throw at you, because I think I know your answer, and it might be different than mine. If you're the Jets, they've been linked to Rodgers. Would you rather have Carr at his age and a big price tag, or Rodgers at his advanced age, which might only 1 more year, 2 more years, a bigger payday or a bigger cap hit, and it's going to cost you at least a first-round pick? Probably more. Who gives you a better chance?
And there's a timing aspect of it too. So that's where Derek Carr can really cash in, because I think of teams like the Panthers, who went through this, weird quarterback carousel purgatory last year and didn't make the right decision. The Commanders, the Saints themselves too. And so you went through this, and it's like, I'm not going to go through that again. I want to know what I'm getting at quarterback. I'm going to move fast, and I'm going to go for the best guy that's available right now, which is Derek Carr. And if you're the Jets, I think there's a similar aspect to that of, okay, let's say we'd rather I think it's fair the way you laid it out too, to say, okay, in a vacuum, same cost, give me Aaron Rodgers over
Of course, he's
right?
a better football player.
Yes. But when you consider age, you consider cost, maybe Derek Carr closes that gap. Maybe he passes him up. And then when you consider, okay, well, if we let somebody else jump in and get Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers either retires or stays in Green Bay. Well, now we got neither. So you got to move fast. And so if you're the Jets, I think the argument would be, let's make sure we have a good quarterback instead of sitting back and waiting and maybe not ending up with a good quarterback. So I think that's where we could see a frenzy for Derek Carr, is these teams realizing, like, we can't go through this whole thing again and end up with no quarterback. And if you're picking 9th in the draft, or you're picking 11th in the draft like the Titans are, and you might be on the outside looking into the quarterback you want in the draft anyway and spending a bunch getting up, just solidify it with Derek Carr now.
It's well said. The timing thing is very important, and I think it should be addressed. I'm glad he did. Like you mentioned Carolina, I know Deshaun Watson's a different beast, but they danced around with him last year and ended up on the short end of the stick. And then you're settling for Darnold and Mayfield and Corral, and I do think it's a rare opportunity to add a legit starting quarterback in the middle of February, because not only do you know, but you can start building your offense around his strengths. Not, maybe it's Rodgers, maybe it's Carr. And it's easier on Carr. I mean, he's to get his nose in the playbook now, as opposed to, it's not easy changing teams for a quarterback, and, all the mental side of it and learning and all those things too. So he'll get the leg up when he'll be ready to go in training camp, way ahead of most guys that change teams.
And since he was released, he won't count against the compensatory formula either for those teams. So a little bonus there versus another high-priced free agent. By the way, from Jeremy Fowler, the Raiders were looking for a 3rd-round pick for Derek Carr. Even if trade was unlikely, felt modest trade compensation coupled with reasonable year 1 money for a good starter made it plausible, but too many hurdles, and now Carr is that free agent. You know what, though? Now that I think about it, so what if there is multiple teams, and there probably will be,
Mm-hmm.
that are making offers for Derek Carr now that he's a free agent, is he going to have a lower cap hit than Aaron Rodgers? Because the Packers are going to eat a lot of money there, and if the Packers take a big hit, it might be the case where Aaron Rodgers' cap number comes in a little bit lower than Derek Carr's over the course of the next 1 or 2 years.
That's possible. I guess I hadn't thought of that angle. I just knew Rodgers' contract gets crazy, but if Green Bay eats some of it, which they probably could do since Love's cheap,
restructure,
yeah, that type of thing. Maybe that is the case. Certainly, the draft pick compensation is at play here. Here's the other thing, though. Like you mentioned timing, and I keep thinking about that. I'd love to have Aaron Rodgers, but it's going to be a dance. It's not going to be quick and easy. I mean, nothing about anything he does is quick and easy. It's not just going to be, boom, that's where I wanted to go. Let's make the deal. Done, end of story. And he's an all-time great. But right now, in 2023, is he the crown jewel that he once was as a player? I mean, maybe. I mean, if anyone could prove it, I thought he was done when they drafted Jordan Love, and he had won MVP since. I mean, I'd never doubt him. But if he's in the hills doing mushrooms and doesn't care that much and is up in age and doesn't want to stand in the pocket and take a hit, is he still the crown jewel star that he was?
I could see some GMs saying, do we even want that headache? And next offseason, he's going to go to another retreat and we're not going to know. And he's going to kind of be holding our team hostage. I think ownership would probably say, I want that name on the back of my team's jersey, and I'm okay with whatever. So there's big decisions made. And when it comes to ownership and GMs, and then, your locker room, your own job security, if you're head coach and GM, it's like, well, look, we might get fired next year anyway if we don't get a good quarterback. So I'll worry about next offseason. Let's win as much as we can right now, so we still have that job next offseason.
It's also much different being the starting quarterback or the center fielder of the Yankees in New York than it is New Orleans or Carolina. Like there's a lot more room for error in those cities. I don't know Derek Carr, but he seems to have thin skin. Is he the quarterback for the Jets? I mean, or could Rodgers turn on the media there too? Like that's not an easy gig. I mean, you're going to be criticized for every step you take.